Look, I'm gonna start this video out by saying that there's nothing wrong with having stuff. Stuff is fun. It's fun to have things. It's fun to have stuff that you like. Even, down to the root of what we're going to talk about today, there's nothing really wrong with, just economic stability. Everybody wants to die on a mattress and not on the street. Um, Unless you want to die on the street, but I'm not talking to you today. We have this desire to kind of curate a life for ourselves. And then, with that kind of comes this point where we go, okay, this is good, snapshot this. We need to always be at least this level of being, and sometimes that's entitlement and we think we deserve everything, and then sometimes that's just not wanting to let go of certain things, forego comfort for either like progress or to help somebody else out. And that's kind of what we're going to talk about today with the Four of Pentacles. um, if you don't know who I am, I don't either, but I'm Taylor Ellis, the creator of the Ellis Deck Tarot and the Tarot of the Starbound Phantasia. And today we are going to explore the Four of Pentacles. All the Pentacle cards are Earth element. So when we look at a specific card, we need to think about kind of the quantity of that number or the symbol of that. Um, and for that, and the Four of Pentacles, I like to think about something like four stone walls. And stay with me here. I think about the idea of stability having kind of this dichotomy with stagnation, where first we have our four stone walls. We're like safe. We have our little fortress. Nothing can come in and get us. Um, but if we stay in there, we don't build a door into the walls, or we just isolate and try to have our tidy little setup inside those walls. We become inflexible. We don't leave. We don't explore the rest of the world. We end our curiosity, and that's kind of a really sad place to end up. The I Ching that we're going to go with for the Four of Pentacles is water over earth, which is number 8, is holding together or union. And you can think about the trigrams and their elements and how they interact, and kind of as a meaning and a medicine, I think, for this card. The first way that I would look at that is thinking about like water and earth. And when we mix water and earth, we get clay, and then we have something to build with. So it's like our builder in this card, our curator of their own life. Like I was saying, someone that can set things up. Um, but again, going back to the earth element analogy of not wanting to be isolated and sequestered in your own little fortress against the rest of the world, let's also think about water rolling over the earth as rivers. They come, the snow cap on a mountain melts, and these rivers all release and flow over the earth, and they flow into each other in lakes and in oceans. And what we need to think about with that is how the way that we all come together, nobody can create anything in a vacuum. Nobody is super radical, self-reliant. Nobody's, rolling their own bullets out of hemp, or, it's you. Even when you want to go out and like, live off the grid or whatever, you're using knowledge of people that came before you. You didn't just spawn one day and have everything that you needed. We're all part of one thing, doing the thing together. Even when you're alone, everything that you have in your possession or around you represents efforts, ideas, dreams of other people, and what was created as a product of those. The astrology for the Four of Pentacles is the Sun in Capricorn, which is great for getting things done. The Sun has like initiative and it has leadership, And then Capricorn has discipline and planning. So it's really good at not just initiating and getting something started, but kind of coming up with the nuts and bolts of it too. The problem with the Four of Pentacles is not productivity. If we want to look at kind of the shadow aspects of the card, other aspects of the Sun in Capricorn, the Sun you would think of like pride, and then with Capricorn, think about like persistence. And pride and persistence together can kind of indicate somebody that doesn't give up, which is awesome to a point. And that's where burnout comes from, is when you are like, no, I just have to stick with this thing. And then at some point, either your body or your brain or your budget or somebody around you gives you that important knock and lets you know that it's time to stop. Okay, we're going to take a peek first here at the Ellis deck. And who do we have here? We have this well-dressed young guy in the Pinnacle Lands. And he's got this paper white skin, and it's on this black background. And I think of the Pentacles as like the world of consequence, it's the world of matter. The stuff that they do here matters. It's very black and white. It's you can't eat a philosophy paper. I'm not talking shit about philosophy. I love philosophy, but what I'm saying is like usually you have to when it comes to pentacles and survival in the material world, you've got to have actions that yield results. And so this individual, this fellow here, is a devout student of that. And if we look at how they're dressed, most of the pentacle cards, they're all kind of wearing these earthen robes, and some have gold accents and what have you. And so this guy's got definitely a lot of those. He's got a cool little headband. He's got these little bracelets, and he's got a necklace on. So definitely kind of that, I don't know, like the Capricorn, knowing how to dress, I guess. So there's style, and it's kind of like, think about like a young person that is really kind of over. I guess you get older, you're like me, you're just like, I'm just gonna wear a t-shirt every day, I don't care. But it's when you're younger, you're like, oh, what am I gonna wear? The people that are like, they won't leave the house if they don't have something to wear. They have to be done up to leave the house. And so that can be a way that the Four of Pentacles is like kind of stagnates you, or keeps you trapped in a material mental thought process. And they're in this weird little yoga pose. Almost, where they're balancing on their toes. They've got their hands in like this prayer, and they've got four pentacles. One's on their head, they got two in their hands, and then one is balanced like on the back of their heels almost. And not only would that be like a difficult position to stay in if you weren't holding on to those pentacles, but they're holding on to those pentacles at the same time. So it's like, they don't want to drop them. They're really focused on what's going on with those. So this inflexibility kind of happens because of that. They're just holding on to things, and it's like they want to present what they have a certain way, and so they're a little too focused on it, which leads us to what's going on behind them there. We see these two sets of red eyes. And so this card has kind of a warning about your blind spots. And, on one hand, this could be like people looking to rob this person who's put their wealth on display. It could be some sort of, predator in the background, some, unforeseen danger, like you're literally not looking out for like environmental hazards. But another thing that it could be that's like a less uh, physical threat could be that this person is so focused on the material that they're ignoring the relationships of their lives. Like we talked about, not appreciating other people because you're so wrapped up in your own stuff. The person that works so much that they neglect their family, or um, is like someone that has like a craft, like that they're wanting to get better and better and better at, but they forget that they have, a family that cares about them, that wants to hear from them, or friendships that they neglect. And the thing that this person's got to do is kind of let this stuff fall to the side. They've got to not worry about looking vulnerable, because by trying to stay hard and static and invulnerable, they've actually made themselves very vulnerable to the things that are in their blind spots. All right, Starbound 30. So what do we have here? It's a lot different than the other one. We've got this kind of mechanical shield looking symbol in the middle of the image. And if you look at the other Pentacle cards in this deck, they have a goat at some aspect or some stage of life. They're running and playing. They're starving to death. They're starting a family, or they're a pile of bones. But in any which case, it's something organic in the goat's life. And this ram, on the other hand, here is made of like earth or metal, or something that's not it's not a meat goat. And what he's got going on instead is basically being a symbol. He's a shield. He's protective. He's good. He's got these gears going on in the background behind him. He's a thing. He's not a living thing. He's a thing. And so what that's meant to symbolize is confusing the map for the territory, or the menu for the meal, or getting wrapped up in like the symbol of the object, and not the object itself. And I think with the Four of Pentacles, what that is money. And how we think about, the pentacles don't always mean money. They represent like a material or a resource. And the thing is money itself is just like a representative of time or labor or energy. It's nothing on its own. It's got to be backed by a system for it to mean anything at all, and to be, worthy of exchange for goods or services. So in this card, it's like you've gotten so wrapped up in the idea of money that just the money itself is more important than anything else. And it's like they say, you can't eat money. You can't love money. I mean, I guess you can, but the thing about those guys. But anyway, so yeah, we have that symbol in the middle. And then we have our stability is provided by the pentacle in each corner. And if we look closely at the pentacles, we can see what I'm talking about the idea of symbol versus reality. And in the very center of the pentacle is this green jewel, and inside of it is a sprout. It's like the spark of life, something organic, something alive. Um, Human effort or ideas, or something um, that we've maybe dug out of the ground, and suddenly assigned value to it, and suddenly it's this different thing. But this further is this gem is being held in a hand, and so the hand can depict like a skill or work or craft. And then kind of extending outward from the points, or from the sides of these jewels, are the points of the star. So we have like the symbol is expanding outward. Behind it are all these gears and workings and things. It's like they're being powered by this gem in the middle. But then surrounding all of that is this golden circle that encapsulates the whole thing, like separates it from us. We don't see how the bread is baked, or we don't see the work that goes into making our TV, or you don't see the 11-year-old kids sewing the shoes together, or whatever. And then you have the teeth of the wheel outside of that. So we have this whole complicated thing that is all coming from some spark of life somewhere, that's totally encapsulated, and then it's made into this thing that's just a plug and play that we can just, jam into something else. And so our world is made of all these complexities that we don't really have any interaction with or any understanding of. We're almost completely separated from it. But it's this thing that builds our world. So it's like, maybe we can't necessarily escape that, but it's important to consider it from time to time. And so all these symbols are in front of our big purple spiritual mountain. That's our background. And we almost can't see the mountain at all or even consider it for what it is. And so it's just one more aspect of symbology standing in front of the world itself, or like the material world, that we've come to worship the material over like the soul, like uh, what makes us inherently human beings. Is shortchanged in an effort to maybe see how a person is valuable or how they can be used. So I kind of wanted to wrap up by saying again, I didn't make this video to be like, oh, you shouldn't have stuff and the materialism bad and all that. That's where we're in this world that we are stuck with, and this is how we live. But in the meantime, you can't make money the most important thing, because money just represents something. The same way you can't make the stuff in your life the most important part of your life, because those are all just little trinkets and baubles that we collect along the way. And if we have to give up one of those things to get out of our own way, we can't be trapped by it. But again, um, that's why we have this as the four. The next card, the Five of Pentacles, definitely shows what happens when we start to go without. And, once we forego comfort, we're moving again. But if you made it this far in the video, thank you for watching. I appreciate you. Please hit like and subscribe. If you'd like to buy either of my tarot decks, you can go over to my website. I'll be sure that the link is down below. Other than that, happy reading.